Just about everybody is being impacted by this, and that is the rising cost of electricity. And joining us now to talk more about this is Jim Chilsen, Citizens Utility Board member. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I'm sorry. I wish it were a better topic, a happier topic.
I know.
I mean, seems like everything is going down this road this day.
Let's talk about this, though. The electricity costs are on average 5.5% higher today than a year ago, and natural gas has increased by 13.8%. What is this all attributed to?
Yeah, let's start with electricity. There's a lot of different reasons for this. ComEd's electricity price has gone up about 45% as of June 1st. That ComEd estimated at the beginning of the summer that was going to cost customers about $11 a month. Well, unfortunately, it's been a rough summer. We've gotten hit with a double whammy. Not only did electricity prices skyrocket, but we also had a couple heat waves in there. So that extreme heat combined with the price spike means that we had customers who are saying that there were triple-digit increases in their electric bill from 1 month to the next. So it's been just really difficult. It's due to, honestly, everybody's getting a crash course on their electricity bill. There is something called capacity costs, which is just basically it's reserve electricity, and it's wrapped into the price of electricity. Those are determined by auctions run by the power grid operator, PJM interconnection. And that price for capacity for reserve power went absolutely through the roof in this auction. It went up by about 800%. That led to this 45% increase in ComEd's price.
And so this is just built into the situation that we're stuck with. This is essentially the hand that we have all been dealt.
Yeah, now the good news is there are a lot of issues. There are a lot of ways to fix this. You know, we're seeing unprecedented increase in demand because of data centers, but there are policy solutions that we could implement that could solve these problems, and that's what we need to do. You know, a lot of people are surprised to hear that not only on our electric bills are we paying for electricity that we use, but also this reserve power, this capacity price, we're paying for power that we may use in the future if demand goes through the roof. The one thing that everybody should know is that ComEd's actually not profiting off this increase on the supply portion of the bill. They're trying to raise another part of the bill, and shame on them. But this is dealing with supply. They don't profit off that. The ones that are making money, the ones that are celebrating this increase while we go through all this pain are big power generators, mostly fossil fuel generators. They're laughing all the way to the bank. So one thing we could do is improve policy at the power grid operator, PJM, which many people haven't even heard of, but we could improve their policy to connect power plants more quickly. Right now, there is plenty of power waiting to be connected to the grid, potential power. And sometimes they wait years to get connected. These are modern power plants, wind, solar, battery projects that could bring down those prices. And that's just not happening. And that's why CUB and other consumer advocates are pushing the power grid operator, PJM, to clean up its act.
You know, Jim, let me ask you this, because I have a coworker who literally sits right next to me. He was telling me just yesterday, not even knowing that this segment was coming up, he was saying that his bill is up, his electricity bill, and he has solar power. He has solar power connected to his home. He has the solar panels. Why would his bill also be up?
That's a really good question. I don't know, because I've talked to a lot of people who said their bill with solar power has been next to nothing. They've been doing very well during this price spike. So I'd love to see that bill and love to look at what exactly is happening, because there might be some dysfunction at the home that we can pinpoint. So I'd love to see that bill. But you know, one of the ways out of this is through clean energy options, not only big clean energy power plants, but you know, through things like solar panels on people's homes. Of course, not everybody has the budget. Not everybody gets as much sun. So again, this gets back to improving power grid policy at PJM interconnection so that they can clean up their act and do a better job of connecting these power plants that have been waiting in line. Some of them wait in line for years. They never actually get built because the approval process takes such a long time.
Wow.
So there are solutions out there, But unfortunately, what's happened is this power grid auction I told you about that determines capacity prices. They had another auction since then. It led to a second straight year of record prices. So we are going to be dealing with these high prices into 2027, the first half of 2027. So definitely, this is an urgent problem. We need to continue to to fix policy. And just with individual consumers, we tell them, please practice energy efficiency, be smart about it. Energy efficiency is never about taking risks, keeping your home too hot or too cold to save your energy bills. It's always about keeping your home safe depending on the season. So please, everybody should practice energy efficiency. That can help lighten the electric bills, but everybody should be safe in how they practice energy efficiency.
Can we dive a little deeper into this PGM issue? I'd like to understand it just a little more clearly. When you say that they need to clean up their act and we could improve the situation with better policy, can you contrast what the current policy is and what changes would need to be made to clean up the existing situation?
Yeah, the great question. So this is something a lot of people don't even know, what PJM is, and this organization has a huge impact on electric bills for 67 million customers. It's the largest power grid in the nation, goes from northern Illinois all the way to the eastern seaboard, and the policy it develops often impacts the rates we pay for electricity. In general, their policy tends to lead to big payouts to power grid operators at the expense of just average consumers like us, and we're paying those high rates. But what happens right now is they have the worst interconnection queue in the country right now, and that means that potential power plants, these are mostly modern power plants that are waiting to get connected to the power grid, take 5.5 years often to get connected to the power grid. And so we need to do a better job. Now, PJM is making some progress, but we need to keep pushing them to shorten that time. It is literally the worst wait times in the country for any power grid operator. It's with PJM, and we're seeing the consequences of that with these high electric bills. But in general, they tend to prioritize big payouts to these power generators, mostly fossil fuel companies, that, again, like I said, are laughing all the way to the bank this summer while we pay these high bills.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds like legislation is needed.
Yes.
Jim Chilsen with Citizens Utility Board.
Thank you.
We thank you for coming on.